Hey guys, so I thought today's video would be really cool to do like another story time because I actually have a story that happened a few days ago, and I wasn't gonna make like a story time on it, but I told my sister and she was just like, I can't believe you didn't even tell me this happened. As soon as it happened, she was like, you really need to make a story time on this because it's so crazy. And so I was like, okay, because I guess looking back it is crazy and I was really scared when it did happen. So anyways, on New Year's Eve my husband didn't work and the kids and I were home, and when my husband did come home, because he had worked overnight the night before, when he did come home, it was like he was super clingy that day. Like he wanted me to hang out with him a lot, watch movies with him. But that whole day I was working on my New Year's Eve video because I filmed it a couple days ago, but I only had time to edit it on New Year's Eve, and I wanted it up like in enough time for people to watch before like the ball dropped. I didn't want to put up a New Year's Eve video at 11 o'clock at night. So all day I was working on editing it, and my husband was just like, watch a movie with me, come sit with me. And I was just like, look, I really need you to finish this video and have it up at a certain time. And he started to get upset because he was just like, you care more about YouTube than me. You know how guys get if you don't spend like, every second with them when they want you to. Like he was just like, you're caring more about your video than me and stuff like that. And so he was like getting upset over that. And I was just like, I still need to get this up. So I was still working on the video, and I think that kind of made him a little more upset because I was still focused on the video and not really, caring about spending that day. He did have off, and he did have off the day after, but that time he wanted me to spend with him, he's a little upset that I didn't just stop everything and spend time with him, and I kept working on my video. So I'd say around 4 or 5, it was starting to get dark outside, and we decided that what we were going to do was to get like, I wanted to make these taco stuffed peppers, and we decided to go to Walmart to get the stuff because down here we do have grocery stores, but it's not like up in New Jersey where you have like a lot. Where I am in Delaware, the grocery stores are Food Lion. Safeway is so far, it's like 45 minutes away. So it's like Food Lion and Walmart, and our Food Lions are really small, and our Walmarts are like the super Walmarts where it has everything. So when we go shopping, we always go to the super Walmart. So anyways, around 4 or 5, we decided to go to Walmart and get like all the ingredients I wanted to make for the stuffed peppers. And then I wanted to make like daiquiris and things like that. I keep hitting the glass, but I wanted to make daiquiris and things like that. So we decided we were going to stop at Walmart and get the supplies to make like daiquiris. And so we headed on out. So I remember on the way to Walmart, I was even watching my video on my phone because I hadn't put it live yet. Like it had uploaded, but I didn't have time to watch it to make sure it was perfect before I uploaded it. But I was watching it on the way before I put it live, and my husband was just like, even now you're watching videos? And like he was just like, I can't believe you're not spending this car ride with me. So he was still going on about it then. And we pulled inside of the Walmart, and we had parked, and I remember as soon as I opened the door, because he was driving and I was on the passenger side, as soon as I opened the door, like I heard screaming, and I was just like, well, that's weird. At first I was thinking maybe some teens are like goofing around or whatever, but like the screams, like at first that's like the first reaction, but then the screams you could kind of register they were like not fun screams, they were like scared for my life screams. And so I'm just like, this is weird. So I'm looking over to where the screams are, but it was really dark, so I couldn't see anything. And then I turned around and I'm just like, let me get the kids out of the car and get inside. So Layla sits directly behind me. So I went out of the car and unbuckled Layla and picked her up. And I walked over to the driver's side, and my husband was getting out Sean, but he had actually stopped getting out Sean, and he was looking like behind me to where the noise was. And also I forgot to mention, when I was getting out Layla, there was a couple in the car directly behind me, and they were going into their car because they had finished going in Walmart. And I remember the wife saying to the husband, like, because she was walking around to the passenger side, but he was stopping behind the car to look at the noise too, and the wife said to the husband, like, don't look, just get into the car. And I remember the husband saying something like, but this could be a domestic violence. He's like, I really should help, and by then I'm walking around to my husband's side, and I see my husband looking over at the same thing that was going on, and he had unbuckled my son. So he unbuckled Sean, put him down, and I noticed he was already watching it, so I was just like, what is going on? And he didn't really tell me. He was just like, listen, take the kids, go inside. And I noticed he had grabbed something from the trunk, and he had closed the door and started walking over to where the noise was. So I grabbed the kids and I started walking inside. I was holding Layla and holding Sean's hand, and Sean kept asking me, like he kept turning around and asking where Daddy was going because he saw Kym going towards like the noise. And I think that kind of scared him a little because he's not like used to like screaming and things like that. So also on the way, my son had kept asking, he was like, can I get a toy? Because he knows when he goes to Walmart, well, most of the time when he goes to Walmart, he'll get like a toy. So we always ask, are we going to Walmart? Can I get a toy? And both me and my husband had told him, no toys right now because you just had Christmas. You don't need any toys. And so he kept asking where Daddy was going, where Daddy was going. So as soon as we got into Walmart, like, mind you, I couldn't think. I'm just like, what the heck happened? Like, I was so worried for my husband. And it was just, it seemed like crazy because literally even when I'm going in, everyone was stopping and staring at the whole situation. So I didn't stop to look because I'm just worried about getting the kids inside. But the way it was, like, the entire parking lot was looking over there. But like, I never saw anyone on the phone or anything like that to even call the police. Like, they were just looking, but they looked scared, like they couldn't go forward, but at the same time they weren't trying to stop it, if that makes any sense. So I got the kids inside of the stroller or whatever, or like the, you know, shopping cart, and I went directly to the toy section because like I was just like, anything to keep his mind off of Kym going towards the noise. I took the kids over to the toy section, and I was inside of Walmart for about 30 minutes, and I was so scared. We stayed in the toy section for about 10-15 minutes, and then I remember I was like, well, let me start getting the food because maybe by the time I'm done with the food, and he'll have come in by then, and I won't have to have gotten all the food by the time he gets to me. Also, the entire time this was going on, I am like a worry wart. So inside I was just like, anything could have happened. With the way the lady was screaming, I was like, maybe someone had a gun to her or something. So I'm just like so worried for my husband because already now people don't like officers and things like that. So I was just like, so I don't know, I was so afraid. Like, I felt so worried, and I was just praying, and you know, I was just thinking, like, I didn't even say I love you before he had walked off. Like, I was just like, I just pray he's okay, and I pray I see him again, and I don't want anything bad to happen to him. And I'm always superstitious about things happening on the very last day of the year. So being that it's New Year's Eve, it was just so crazy. So I was just like, God, please let nothing happen to my husband. So I was so happy when I saw him coming through the door. And as soon as I saw him, I gave him like this big hug and a kiss. And people probably think I'm crazy because I look like he came back from war. But I was just like, what happened? You know, I kept asking what happened. And he had explained to me. So now I'm going to tell you guys like what he explained to me. I don't want to say anything that I'm not supposed to say. Not like it's going to change the story or anything, but I'm just not going to mention one fact. But so what happened was my husband had went over to the car, and he said the guy who was in the car next to us had went over with him, and he was like a bigger guy. So both him and my husband walked over there, and as soon as my husband had got there, he had showed them his badge, and he told him the name and asked what was going on. So as soon as my husband pulled out his badge, the guy who had walked over there with him had looked and saw like he was an officer. So he's like, oh, never mind. He's like, you got this, you're good. And he walked off and left my husband there. And my husband was like, really? So he asked what was going on. He saw like a man standing there and a woman, and the man was like on one side of the car, and I believe the woman was on the other, but she had blood all over her hands. I had asked if she had it on her face and stuff. He said no, it was just really like all over her hands. So when he had said that, automatically I was thinking, well, she must have got like cut, like he may have used a knife on her and stuff. And so my husband had said he had asked the lady, first he told the guy to stand over there, don't move, stand where you are. And the guy was like, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to disrespect you, I'm staying where I am. And so he asked the woman, and he was like, what happened to you? What happened to you? And she was just repeating like, I don't want him to go to jail, I don't want him to go to jail. So she would not tell him what like he had used on her or anything like that, which was obvious, like he had used something on her because she was bleeding all over the place. And at one point she had tried to reach out to my husband. Like, she was like, I don't know what she was doing, she was trying to reach out to him, but he told her like to not touch him because, like, you know, she had all this blood on her, and you're not supposed to touch anyone with all that blood because frankly, you don't know whether the person has AIDS or anything. So he said just stand there, you know, and he ended up calling the cops, and he called like 911, and he explained the situation, and they had said that they were going to send some officers over. And so while he was waiting for them, because he had like stood there to wait, while he was waiting for them or whatever, the guy was like, can I explain to you what happened? Can I tell you what happened or whatever? And my husband was like, no, you can't tell me anything. You can wait for the cops. And so the cops for that city ended up coming, and my husband ended up telling them exactly what happened. And then after that, he had said he was going to go back inside, and the cops had said they got it from there anyway. So my husband came back inside, but he did say it was a while for the cops to get there, so that's what had taken so long. But he said that the woman looked like she was really hurt, like, and scared of the guy that was with her. So that is just so crazy to me. And to have that happen in a Walmart parking lot of all places, like, you just wouldn't expect that to happen, you know? So we ended up shopping and going home, and honestly, the whole time when I was shopping, I remember thinking, and waiting for my husband, I remember thinking, you know, anything could have happened to him. And this whole day I've been so worried about doing everything else and so busy and putting like everything else before him, and it made me think like how important life is and how fast things can happen, and just you know, taking the time to spend more with your loved ones and things like that. So it made me think more about like putting him first, because sometimes I'll forget and put him on the back burner and stuff like that. So it just really made me realize like I need to just value every moment I have with my husband, because this world is crazy, and anything could have happened then, and I'm just so thankful that he was okay. Now I don't know what happened exactly with the couple afterwards. When we came back out, their pickup was gone. So my husband had mentioned that maybe he was either arrested or the police had let him go home. But yeah, that's the gist of it. That's just my quick story time. So if you guys have had any crazy experiences at shopping centers, let me know. I mean, that's probably the craziest thing that has happened to me. I did go shopping on Black Friday a couple years ago, and I went shopping with my husband and my sister and my brother to Target, and then a few hours later, there was actually guys during that whole time hiding inside the bathroom, came out and did a robbery on the entire store. But that was like a few years ago back in New Jersey. But we were shopping while they were actually hiding in the bathroom. I didn't even know they were in there, which is another crazy story. But I mean, we never saw them or anything that I know of. So that's just the closest I've got to something that's been crazy. So I've had one crazy experience with Target and one crazy experience with Walmart. But yeah, I feel so bad for the lady who was assaulted at the Walmart parking lot. I hope she's okay. If I hear anything different, or if I hear what happened or something like that, I will put it in the description box below. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.